Hi, it's mailbag time. I've never done this before, I don't know how it's going to go, but here is my mail from the last couple of days, and I'm just going to open it. So why don't you kick back, grab your favourite beverage, and watch while I make a fool of myself opening my post. Let's get started. So first up, we've got this one from Farnell, actually CPC, which is a subsidiary of Farnell, and they are more consumer orientated. But if you are thinking of buying, let's say, for example, a mid-price multimeter from Farnell, then go and look on the CPC site, because chances are you'll find it quite a lot cheaper, and I mean 20 or 30% cheaper. I know what's in here, and yeah, they were cheaper than Farnell's. Anyway, let's get it open. So no Crocodile Dundee knife or sharpened circuit boards. It's a scalpel for me. I'm a precision engineer. Okay, from CPC then, there's two sets of CK Senso plus one pair of snipe nose pliers, one pair of side cutters, which we'll look at in a second, and this Pros Kit little long nose pliers. Now, for quite a while I've been using these two. These are both Pros Kit ESD, which I bought, I don't know, 15 years ago in Maplin, and they've actually been pretty good. Unfortunately, just recently I managed to take a nick out of this blade, and it's begun to wobble somewhat, it has to be said. So yeah, I needed a decent replacement. These are my long nose pliers, and I've used them, and you may have seen them in many of my videos. I like them, they're very narrow. They come to a nice, not necessarily a point, but a good taper. And they grip pretty well, and they're not over serrated. But unfortunately, over the years, they've become weaker in the nose, and now they're not really up to things as well as they should be. So again, I look for a replacement. Now, for these are a PK102, and I found a PA102, which I thought was going to be the same thing. It's the same sort of physical size, different handle, and I'm sure that it said in the catalogue page that it was actually ESD safe, but I don't think that's the case. Although I could easily swap across the padded handles, but yeah, not very happy with this particular one. Let me zoom in from above. Let's see if we can see why. So here are the old ones underneath. Nice taper, rounded edges, smooth, quite well refined, quite a nice make. And the new one just feels like a piece of punched metal. Now, in fairness, these were only £4.50 or something like that in price. So I just move them in, keep the focus. But yeah, they're fairly a bit rough and ready, it has to be said. They do not taper in much, really. At this end, they've got a bit of a taper on them, but it's just a square edge. They're very blunt on the end. The opening, so you can accept some opening at the back versus the front, but it shouldn't be excessive, and it's quite noticeable. And it's about 2mm back here, and these blades are quite thick. I'm not going to get these into a densely populated circuit board in the same way that I could get these ones. So the other thing as well is, you probably can't see it on the video, this serration is quite severe within the jaws. So these are the needle nose pliers. Just put them in my hands, there you go. So and let's see if I can measure the length. There we go, 120. Pretty much as advertised. And yeah, these are exceptionally nice. So they feel very nice in the hand. They've got quite a wide grip. In terms of the jaws coming together and things like that. So we do have the slight taper, but you know, it's probably a millimetre back here. So with these I decided to go for smooth jaws. I'm going to put a bit more light on it, that's better. In terms of, you know, meeting, they are very, very precise indeed. Beautifully polished, full lap joints, a bit of oil in there, still popping out. And as you can see, this is the 377D. There you go. 120mm Senso Plus. And yeah, these are ESD and they're designed for like anti-fatigue and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, nice, very nice indeed, and very light pressure to operate them, and they spring back to a sensible amount. It's about, I don't know, 14-15mm opening in there, not ridiculously huge, because you don't want it too wide. I mean, you can open them wide if you want to, but you don't generally need them too wide for these things. So next up we've got the T3880DF, the F being important, also from CK, and these are also, all the things I said about those other pliers apply here, same sort of handles, all ESD of course, they're not opening ridiculously. They're the same size, which is nice. Let's look at that opening just to give you a feel for the size there. So they're opening about 8mm at the tip, which is just nice for sliding onto a circuit to cut a lead off or something like that. These are flat backed. Well, they're not flat backed, they're curved, but there's no bevel on this side, so it cuts flush, and that is actually very sharp. Now, interestingly, the F, I mentioned the F on the name. That's because these have got brazed tungsten blades in them. I have damaged too many pliers in the past, discovering that the piece of wire I'm cutting is a little tougher than I thought. And yeah, so there we go. Very, very nice indeed. Beautifully made. The same type of lap joint that we looked at before. So this isn't just crossed over. This is like a full box joint. And coming from the factory, all lubricated and ready to go. Just needs a wipe down. Very, very nice indeed. So made in Germany. Okay, cool. DigiKey. But anyway, here we go. So the usual DigiKey paper packing, which I keep and recycle or reuse. The usual lots and lots of pages. This is 6 pages packing list. And I'm not going to show you every part that's in here. Oh. Yeah, I think that's it. Excellent. So as we see, a lot of parts. So these are some 74HC193s, and these are dip packages. But most of what's in here is not dip package. So this is 74 AHCT245s, which are high-speed bus transceivers. More 74 logic, more 74 logic. Most of this is 74HC, but there is some 74F logic, and there's a mix of through-hole and SOIC packages for surface mount. So I actually have quite a lot of logic. See what that is in a second. I do have quite a lot of logic ICs in stock, but I have quite a big project in mind, and all of these are for one project, and there are over 400 logic ICs in these bags. Now, why have I got some through hole and some surface mount? But it's got a couple of bits I need to do some experiments with just to make sure I understand how they are going to operate. So there's some pots in there, linear pots. What are these? These are transparent D-latches, again for buses. 4-bit, so this is 4-bit counters. There should be a very, very large bag of 4-bit counters somewhere. But anyway, there we go. I will check all those parts later. So last up, and I predict making a horrible mess on the bench, is something I ordered from eBay quite a while back, and I'd kind of forgotten about it a little bit. Hadn't completely forgotten it, of course, but I do check my deliveries off against the list occasionally. But yeah, it was a bit of a surprise when the courier turned up. You can see a handle. Oh, not sure I can lift it like that. I'll do my best. Get on the floor. Okay, there we go. So this is a Tektronix 3001 Prism. Yep, that's right. And this is essentially a logic analyzer mainframe, for lack of a better description. I'm not quite sure whether or not it's got the logic analyzer sort of pod adapters in it, or whether it's just the acquisition board. But anyway, we'll have a little look around it and see what's what. I certainly expect that this is going to need some repair, and certainly one of the problems is going to be the so these are SCSI. So yeah, so I kind of think that these are going to attach to the actual acquisition pods. But yeah, so I was saying that I think the main problem is actually going to be getting the software to run it, and I think that there's a hard disk that has failed inside this as well, and that would have probably had the operating system on it. So on the back we've got this comms pack port, which I think actually is a variant of RS-232, and we've got a plain RS-232 here. We've got Tektronix, usual voltage selector. We've got a keyboard. Now this is reminiscent of some Agilent keyboards, but I think this is actually an RS-232 based keyboard as well. So mains and all the other stuff. I don't think there's anything on the other side. Yep, nothing really, just a fan port. Right, and back to the front, so we can see the Tektronix 3001 Prism series better now, and a floppy disk drive, which I don't know whether that works or not. I'm not sure exactly what the problem is with this, but no doubt before too long we shall be looking at a teardown and a repair attempt at this, but there might not be much point if the hard disk is gone and I can't get the software. We'll see what happens anyway. So it's that time when I ask you to like, subscribe and comment down below. So go on, you know you want to. See you next time.